I am Dr. Shannon Reese. I'm so happy that you joined me here today. I am the founder of trainingforoptimalperformance.com, and my joy in life is helping amateurs leverage the power of the mental side of their game. Specifically, I help amateur golfers learn how to improve their mental consistency so that they can improve their performance consistency from tee to green, which enables them to lower their handicap and really fall in love with their game again. Those are the stories that I get from my clients who've gone through my training, is that they're just having so much more fun, which is music to my ears. I absolutely love to hear that. So today, I wanted to talk to you about why you don't want to practice before you head out to play. That is a big mental game no-no. In this week's Quick Tip Tuesday that I shared, I addressed a common pre-round hiccup that golfers tend to repeat. It's a bad habit if you want to look at it that way, but they often don't even realize that it is putting them in a position to be trying to play with the wrong mindset. So it's a common habit. Most golfers don't even recognize that it's causing them difficulty, but what this wrong mindset does is begin to create a wider and wider and wider trust gap when it comes to your game. So there is a time for practicing and there's a time for playing, and each of those two very separate activities require two very separate mindsets in order to get the most out of that particular activity, whether you're trying to develop or refine or level up your swing on the practice range. And in your lessons, that's a particular mindset. And then to go out and play with consistency, with strength, with confidence, that requires a completely different mindset. So basically, in one realm, you are developing your talent, and in the other realm, you actually want to be positioned mentally to free all that great talent that you have been working hard to develop. If you find that you tend to hit really great shots on the range, and then you get out onto the golf course and somehow that great swing disappears, that's a sign that you are operating with a trust gap in your game. We also see that unfold for golfers who have an amazing, picture-perfect, like scratch golfer practice swing, and then when they address the ball, everything changes, and they look like a completely different golfer. Again, that is being driven not by your lack of ability or technical skill, but by the shift you are making mentally. And so it's just two different ways to approach the game, driven by two very specific and different mindsets. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on today. Number one, I want you to understand that the two different mindsets are referred to as the training mindset and the trusting mindset. So the training mindset is specifically centered around helping you develop your talent, as I mentioned just a moment ago, and the trusting mindset is designed to help you free the talent that you've developed. So when we look at the two different aspects of the game, practice and play, there is a mindset that is directly applicable to each one of those. So it's probably pretty obvious, but the training mindset is the mindset that you want to be predominantly utilizing and leveraging when you are practicing, when you are in practice mode. When you're in play mode, you want to be operating with a consistent, trusting mindset. And what we don't want, and what we do see out on the golf course with golfers who struggle and kind of have highs and lows a lot throughout their rounds, or a really good front nine and a really scary back nine, or vice versa, is that there is a lot of blurring of the lines between these two mindsets, and that's where trouble arises. Or you might completely move from one mental game camp to another in the middle of a round, and that can just really wreak havoc on your ability to swing consistently. That's just how the brain and the body work together. So when you're out on the golf course, you want to be 100% of the time in a trusting mindset. And so one of the issues that can come up for a golfer is when they then begin to blur the lines between practice and a pre-round warm-up. And again, those are two very distinctly different activities, or at least should be in your mind and in your approach to the game. You do not want to be practicing during a pre-round warm-up. Your pre-round warm-up really must be a routine that you consistently follow. And when I say routine, that you go about it the same way, pretty much in the same order, unless there's a reason why you would start with putting versus chipping or longer shots. But pretty much the same amount of time, going through the same routine to achieve the same outcome. And that outcome is for you to be not only physically ready to play the game, but more importantly, mentally ready to play the game. And so in your pre-round warm-up, there's a very specific protocol that I teach my clients. I encourage golfers to, have a protocol that they know gets them golf ready, so that they are able to start strong. Hole number 1, opening shot, start strong. Essentially because they've, in some manner, started the round during their warm-up, and then they just carry forward with that once they get to the first tee box. So that was point number 1. So your warm-up needs to be something that is preparing you for live play, and therefore it needs to incorporate some of the elements of live play in order to provide you the avenue to be reinforcing that trusting mindset that we want you to be playing in. So a lot of times I'll refer to that as being mentally in play mode, so to speak, instead of practice mode. So that's point number 2, is that your warm-up needs to be specifically designed to help prepare you for play. Number 3, in order to start strong, as I mentioned just a moment ago, you essentially want to make sure that the tail end of your warm-up is a routine or a process that you follow that simulates the start of the round, so that by the time you get to that first tee box, you've already started and you're just continuing to play strong at that point. And then lastly, the tough part with this whole process is training in the trusting mindset and being able to distinctly define and stick to one versus the other as needed when you are working on your game or playing the game. The tough part comes into play when in the middle of a round, something goes wrong, right? So you have a couple of bad shots or a couple of bad holes that when you don't have a trustworthy pre-shot routine that's your default, like you always stick to your routine no matter what, because that is always going to help you to deliver the very best of what you have in the bag for that day, which is essentially your A game. But golfers who tend to struggle a little bit in the middle of a round and haven't learned to discipline their mindset to stay on track will often deviate back to a training mindset, and that can actually cause even greater problems, kind of magnify a minor struggle into something pretty major that can take your game into a tailspin. So we want to make sure that you have the structure, the step-by-step processes inside your round, so that if something does go wrong, you don't lose your mental game footing and start to move in a completely different mindset direction, which can make it very difficult to continue to play with consistency. So the moment that you decide that you've got to start giving yourself a swing lesson in the middle of a round, that is the warning sign that you desperately need to kind of hit the pause button, check back in with yourself, get back on track with your trust driving process, and then move forward. But not allow yourself the latitude to revert into a training mindset that is not the mindset that will help you play great. Those are my points today, and I wanted to let you know that I will be covering this entire topic in a lot greater depth in my upcoming workshop on Monday, October 28th. That workshop is centered around how to take your best swing from the range to the course. And I'm covering strategies that encompass everything that I just talked about for you to learn how to eliminate trust killers in your game, be in a position mentally to help you deliver free your best swing consistently throughout a round, even when things feel a little bit off. And so this 90-minute workshop is happening Monday, October 28th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time online. It's real easy to access. You can access by your phone, your tablet, your computer. If you can't make the live event, buy your ticket anyway, and you will be given access that week to the free replay. Sorry, not free replay, but you buy your ticket and you'll get access. You will be emailed a link to the replay, and there will be a live Q&A at the end with me. I'm doing the whole thing live, so I'm going to be there in real time to answer your biggest questions. So that in and of itself is super fun and very, very valuable. So all of that is available to you if you go to www.bit.ly, that's bit.ly/workshop-special. So www.bit.ly/workshop-special. If you go there, it'll be $97, which is a great deal for how much I poured into this workshop, and I'm really excited about it. So hope to see you there. Really excited about teaching that on Monday next week, October 28th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is a 90-minute power-packed workshop. So thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions about what I shared today, please feel free to leave me a comment below. I'd love to interact with you and help you with this side of your game. That's why I'm here to help. So until next time, play great.